This is no longer our battle. I tried fighting you. It can't be done.
Could you really rest for all of eternity, knowing that you had the chance to stop him, but did nothing?
Hello everybody, this is Snarist, and welcome back to the channel. This is the continuation of my Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, no upgrade run. And this is part 20, Brand the Warchiefs, part 3 of 5. And yeah, now I remember. So I said every once in a while there'd be a video or two that, when it pertains to the Warchiefs, they're going to take a little bit longer than most of the other videos, due to some complications with certain matchups. And that's because I believe his name is Hura Head-Chopper. Yeah, he was a little tricky to take down, but it's mostly because I'm still stuck in here, in this fortress surrounded by enemies on all sides, and he has like 2 or 3 bodyguards, and they're all very tough. I think one of them has like the bleed effect on his, he's a berserker, he's got this bleed effect on these hooks that he throws, but they can get thrown so far and they take you out in basically one hit, or close to it. But yeah, depending on your luck and the Warchiefs you get, you know, there's definitely ways you can exploit them even with no upgrades. It's just a matter of luck really and playing intelligently. But I can't say, even if I managed to overcome the initial obstacle I had when trying to do this sort of run in Shadow of War on brutal difficulty, well, obviously with upgrades as well, but the reason why I wouldn't bother doing it is because there's just so many like there's so much weirdness to it, and the pacing's all over the place that it just becomes really tricky to, it just becomes a little tricky to deal with. You know, because no one wants to walk around an open world that's even smaller than this, you know, one of 5 or 6 regions, and you're getting gang raped by like 3 or 4 different captains that show up one after the other when you had no intention of fighting them to begin with, and you're not even in a fortress, you're just in the open world somewhere. And so this is a lot of what I'm just trying to do, just trying to build up my Uruk army and getting them to kill each other so I can kill a certain amount of Uruks without taking damage. Because once I do, Hura will show up. And when he does show up, I will be able to start looking at ways to take him down. Because I believe he's also invulnerable to ranged. You'll find that a lot of enemies in the back half of this game are invulnerable to ranged and stealth more so. Combat Master isn't a common thing for them, so there is that at least. But yeah, Hura Head-Chopper has arrived, and he's got 3 bodyguards. So the guy with the bow back there, he's not really much of a problem, but he can be if he fires multiple shots, so there's that. There's another guy beside him who's a little bit more generic, but it's the berserker with the 2 like sort of hooks that you want to be careful of. Or at least, you know, I'm not sure why I'm saying that you need to be careful, because you might not even find this type of enemy. So I find it funny whenever all these Warchiefs I run into have a fear of burning, but I've got literally no way to burn them. So he's still too much out of range, he's still not close enough to do a stealth takedown, but yeah, what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to get him away from his bodyguards. Again, this is the harder way of doing this, where I'm just trying to get him to come to me, rather than having taken an extra 20 minutes to half an hour just working on breaking down his army. But in the meantime, I'm just going to stick to here and start getting more recruits if I can, in the hopes that they'll catch on to the fact that there's fighting going on somewhere, because a lot of these captains and Warchiefs, even though they don't have the trait to be able to sense where you are, you know, like greater awareness of you, they still feel naturally drawn to you. You know, it's just like a stand user. You know, the stand users are drawn to each other. I mean, if you think about it, really, Celebrimbor is basically a kind of stand, isn't he? You know, I can't even believe that's the first time I've actually made a JoJo reference in any of my videos. Crazy times. Also, am I the only one that didn't really like part 6 of JoJo that much? I just found the whole thing to be kind of lame. Maybe it's a problem of an adaptation, but I mean, you know, part 1's fine on its own. Part 2 is pretty good, but I'm not as big of a fan as most people are. Part 3 I enjoyed a lot, but it definitely had some slow episodes and some ones I wasn't really, I didn't really care for. Part 4 I do enjoy, but not as much as everybody else. Part 5, funnily enough, is probably my favourite, and I have no idea what the hell happened there. He like pushed me and took away the rest of my health. I have no idea what happened there. I was just thankful that none of these guys had the no chance strength trait attached to them, because if you don't know what no chance is, you don't get any second chances when you get knocked down. They'll just kill you straight away. That would be very unfortunate. Because even though you're locked into these power struggle missions here, if you end up dying, then it does affect the open world. You know, captains get promoted, they get they get stronger. And the Warchiefs especially get stronger, because they beat you, technically. And see, that's what I was looking for there. I was looking to get one of them near a fire and to hit them until they fell backwards into it. But no, just this tiny little campfire and the dumb fuck berserker falls into it. So you see me dodging around on all these heads and whatever. This is me not understanding what to do. This is me about 3 or 4 minutes deep into the mission, and I haven't even dented or scratched any of the captains at all. That's how disgraceful this is. So I'm just trying to figure out what makes them more vulnerable, and this guy here is vulnerable to headshots, but I'm pretty sure I do end up recruiting him after I brand the Warchief, or I kill one of the captains and he tries to run away, and I end up deciding to brand him because I think he'd be useful as an ally. So yeah, I'm just trying to build up my Wraith Flash, and I'm sort of panicking. By the way, if you've got 2 different prompts that show up for counters, and you press them both around the same time, then Celebrimbor will come out as a secondary clone to try and block for you. I think that's really cool. So it seems like a couple of these captains, and maybe even the Warchief, is vulnerable to headshots, but there's a couple of them that aren't. And so Gorgum Wrathbreeder, I guess his name is. It doesn't seem like he's a captain as part of his bodyguard crew, or maybe he is. Kind of hard to tell. You think the introductions would have started by now, but they haven't. So I'm more or less just trying to carry on, trying to get them close enough to do a Wraith Flash, trying to figure out their weaknesses as I fight. But it's not really working. I've got no elf shot left, so I'm just trying to dodge all around the place, trying to keep away from them, trying to find new ways to supply myself. That's part of why this video takes so long, and I do apologise. But I didn't want to cut anything out in the heat of battle, because I want to show you guys what you can do, or how you can recover from certain situations if you end up in a spot of bother. Or if I speed up the gameplay, you might be a bit confused as to the different movements that I use and the different strategies that I employ. You may get a little bit confused. So this archer up here is still under my control, so I'm just going to go ahead and drain him for a little bit to get some elf shot back. And right now I just want to take things slowly. Thankfully the Warchief has come down here and has started to wander around, and I made the mistake of going into stealth for him. And now the Berserker, who's his bodyguard, Stormbringer, he is definitely on my case, but thankfully they can all be hit with Wraith Stun, so I just want to try and get the right timing so I can be able to hit them in the back. But yeah, this archer here almost killed me. That was almost game over. And you wouldn't be seeing this part of the video if it was a game over. So he's definitely proven to be rather annoying, and it seems like the Berserker that I headshot a little while ago has recovered his health. So yeah, you'll notice that some of these enemies do recover their health, in particular Berserkers. So I'm taking a bit of a risk here and getting my elf shot back, but I need to get more arrows and I need to start focusing on them one at a time. But this is what it's really all about. Even if you can't really make a dent in any of the enemy's forces, just looking for that sweet spot, staying alive, and examining what they do and seeing how they react to the different things you do to them. It's all part of the experimentation process, and then when you figure out how to deal with them, there will be an opening or two that you'll find and you're like, that's it, that's what I need to go for, that's what I need to use, and this is what I need to employ in order to do it. And you'll find those moments, you will. So I'm going to come back up here, grab some elf shot, and I'm just going to chill out for a little bit. Hopefully they don't see me or they start to lose track of where I am, because I want to see if I can get them to split up. Because thankfully, despite the bodyguards, the Warchief doesn't have a gang with him. So I'm trying to get him to separate from his crew. So I'm using the attract function on the bow to be able to lure him away and get all the other captains and enemies and recruits to go there. But his bodyguards aren't leaving him, so I have no choice but to take him by surprise, get him behind him, so that I can do the flurry attack and push him backwards. And when I push him backwards into his own crew, his crew will get put off by me at first, and surprise that I'm able to get a nice good shot in there. And it seems like Hura is actually, Hura is actually rather vulnerable and pretty weak to just about any attack. It's just that I need the right opening. I need a moment alone with him, but I can't because there's all these Uruks around the place. And I'll tell you what, it was this moment here where I really felt like I was going to die, like it was hopeless. But you just got to be a little bit more patient. Just do the ring around Rosie, try to get the Uruks separated away from their captains and their Warchief. Parkour all over the place, don't stop moving, otherwise you'll get hit by some sort of axe or something. Move all around the place, take cover. And just sort of repeat the process if you can, because what I did against the Warchief definitely worked. I just need to find a way to replicate that again. Get to a high spot, duck away, give them a chance to get confused and lose me. They don't know where I am. And when they start breaking away, I use the attract function, get them to move away, get him isolated and alone, and then, look for that opening that I talked about before, and then go for it. So he's starting to separate from his bodyguards, so I'm just going to chill here by the ramp, and for some reason it's caught me on a wall, but he seems to be, every once in a while moving away from his teammates. So he seems inclined to know where I am partially, but this guy here can't really see me. Now the Warchief's beginning to detect me, and he will detect me soon. So I just did a quick attract function there, hopefully distracting all the others. Even though he's invulnerable to range, I still wanted to use the Shadow Strike to get in there and get a quick and easy hit on there, because if I get hit and knocked down again, that's it for me. So I get in behind him, use the Ray Flash, and I attack him a couple times, get the counter on the Berserker. And so this was luck, because even though his health was down not all that much, he still got put into a state where he could be killed or dominated. And that's very lucky for me, because for most other Warchiefs I can think of, his health should have been a lot lower. But now he's branded, the captains are fleeing in panic, they're all scared. And so I've got a choice to make about which captain I decide to go for, because I've got full elf shot. So I decided to go for that Berserker. So as soon as I see him running on his own, so there's less chance of me getting jumped by anybody else. He definitely provided me with more than a handful of problems, so I decided to go for him first. So yeah, just keep hitting him with the Wraith Stun, keep getting the flurry, make sure he doesn't get away from you, and then eventually I'm going to dominate him, and I'm going to bring him to my side. And then we're going to be moving on to the next video, and the one after that, where I take care of the other two Warchiefs, and I'm pretty sure both of them aren't going to be that long of a video, so that'll be good for a break on my throat for once. That's enough out of me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.